Welcome Wolfpack to our second season of our Transport Fever 2 Let's Play series. We are going to try and be a little smarter and learn from our mistakes from the last season, and we are going to start off a little bit slower. If you didn't catch last season's failed series, I will link that in the description below. At the very least, make sure you catch the last episode where we critique our errors and see what we could have done differently. I dissected the whole series in that last short video, and we went through the entire thing of how we could have done it a little bit differently and maybe gotten a different result. We are going to play on the same map. We have a very large map. It's the same map seed, uppercase K, lowercase GG. We have a lot of towns, high amount of towns, and I dropped it from high industries to medium industries just because the map seemed a little bit too busy and we weren't going to be able to use all those anyway. Not that we would, but it just seems it'll be a little bit more clean. We are going to start in 1850 just like we did, and our difficulty level is still going to stay at medium, and we're going to get going. All right, the first thing we're going to do is get rid of these tips as they pop up throughout the first episode here. We're going to pause the game, and just like the last time, we're going to go ahead and set our date speed, and this might be why we screwed up, because we had our date speed set at 1/4, which I'm going to do again, but I'm not used to that. We're going to look around on the map here. I'm going to take a look here after the game is paused, and we will see where we're going to start. Okay, so it looks like, coincidentally, we're going to be starting right around the Garland, McAllen, and Oxnard area once again. We're going to do a different, definitely a different play style, and we're going to go a little bit slower. So one of the things I was talking about from the last episode where we broke down what went wrong is the ability to have our trains moving in two different directions and being profitable in two different directions instead of just a one-way trip. So what we can do is we can truck oil over here to the Oxnard oil refinery. Then we can tank it up, can load it up on a train, and then bring it up here to the chemical plant. But we can also have a line that's bringing oil up to a truck station or a central truck station, or train station actually, and then the train can bring it back down, and we can have even more oil being produced down here at the refinery as well. So that would make that our freight train, our initial freight train, will be able to transport tanked goods both ways in both directions and make it profitable. So that's going to be our goal. I think that's how we're going to start out. I think we're going to put a train station close to the oil refinery, but also close to town. Again, from that last episode 4 where we critiqued where we went wrong, I had to bus a bunch of people out to an outlying train station, and that just didn't work out. In 1850, we just didn't have the capacity to do that. So we are going to get our train stations a little closer so people can walk there and not be bussed there. And I think we are going to stick with the one train station and do a passenger and cargo platform, but I'm not going to make them nearly as big as I did in the last season. I think we're going to start off with trucks because they need to start delivering the oil to the oil refinery. So let's jump over here. We're going to put a truck station or depot, and we're going to go ahead and put this road depot right in over here. And again, we're going to try to keep it pseudo real life, and maybe we'll come back and do a little decorating and such later on, but that's what we're going to start with right now. And we are going to get some truck stations in where we can start moving some oil around. I want to be able to expand this down the road, so I don't want it exactly where I'm pinned in there, so we will go ahead and pop it in right over here. There we go. There's our first truck station. Our next truck station is going to go right in here, and that's going to allow us to deliver oil with trucks. It's going to allow us to deliver oil right to the oil refinery. It's probably not going to make oil just yet because we don't have an end user for our oil, but we're going to go ahead and put, it's an all cargo thing. We're going to go ahead and put 8. Because if I do remember right, we had 4 the last season, and it wasn't enough. And it needs 2 crude oil to make 1 ton of regular refined oil. And see, we've already made a little bit of an error here. I'm going to go ahead and, my original plan was, when I was looking at this before, was to make this a country road. And I was going to bring this around this way. And then we have to keep our terrain in mind, because I don't want these horses taking a crazy amount of time getting up, but I think I'm going to make a road that comes down here directly for industry. And back in the day, that's exactly what they did, was they made roads for the industries themselves. So you can see this line right here means it's a flat road, and we're going to go ahead and cut this road right along this hillside, which is, again, that's what they did back in the day. This is going to be, I think this is going to be our main line shot right here. And now we can, we're going to put our truck station. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this contour lines. We're going to take this truck station, and unfortunately we're going to be wasting some money here. And this is how we got into a jam last time, as we were made too many errors, construction errors, and we wasted a lot of money early on. But I think this is going to be for the better. Of course, I said that a ton last time as well, but we are going to go ahead and do it anyway. So let's go ahead and put this back here. Do something like that. That way we can directly service the oil well, and if we need to expand, we can throw a couple more platforms on there. We'll get a cut-through road over here, just so they have some place to go, and that's what I was meaning before. It was a curvy road. If you don't want that curved road, you can just do a 90-degree angle, or maybe not even a 90-degree angle, but it's a sharp road anyway. First thing we have to do is make a line, set that line, and then they're going from Oxnard West to Oxnard North. That line will be called the Oxnard Oil Supply. We'll come up here, and again, we're going to buy 8 horse-drawn carriages, $191,000. We're going to go ahead and buy them, and we're going to put it right on the Oxnard Oil Supply line. This oil is already going to start kicking out. So we've already spent about $750,000, and we haven't really done anything yet. Now, what I want to do before we get too far behind, or before Oxnard starts growing, is I want to get a train station in here. It isn't going to be anywhere near as big as the last time. We're only going to go with an 80-meter platform length, because our trains can only be about 3 or 4 cars anyway, so it makes no sense to have all that. We're going to start with one track, but we'll configure it the other way in the near future. So let's see. Right here we have already started servicing. We'll service the rest of the town there. And then with a bus line, it might help us out. And but we're also going to bring a road in on the other side, because that's where the cargo is going to come in. So let's go ahead and build a street here. We'll go straight out this way like that. And then we're going to go straight down here like this. And this street's going to come in, and I'm going to try not to, like I did the last time, try not to destroy half the town like I did that last time. We want the passengers to come in on this side. That's what we want, and that's why I had to change this. Cargo is going to come in on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and drop this in here again. Now we're set up correctly. We have a passenger line there, and then we can come over here, and we're going to do the same thing up here in McAllen. We have to find a spot for that train station. The goal here is to be tanking oil up here, so we're probably going to come in, like probably right in here, and then connect this road down here, so the oil can go, the refined oil that is, can go right immediately, go right from over here, and then the passengers can also be running around as well. We already have 100 tons of oil there, or 100 units. I'm pretty sure they're tons. They will be moving oil right away. Over here, we're going to put a couple of streets in. We're going to put a street right up here. So if we go here, that's 18,000, and that gives us a spot to bring our train tracks in and down. So that's what we're going to do right here. And I just want to make sure that we get the correct train station this time. Again, 80-meter platform. We don't need anything larger than that at this point. And look how much of the town that we're actually capturing now. That's a good thing. That's a plus. Let's drop this right in there. And now we can put our tracks in. The other thing that I did, and I didn't mention in the episode 4, that wrap-up, is the first thing I did was double-track the entire length of all of our railway. And that was a tremendous expense, and it was also a tremendous upkeep as well. So you have to watch what you're doing there. I think that's where we made a pretty large error, which cost a ton of money. So you have to be careful of what you're doing there as well. So I'm not going to double track the entire length like I did the last time. That just cost way too much money. And then we will connect that over here. We don't have any major contour issues, so we will just run that straight up here. And I think that looks good. It's 75 miles all the way down, 75 miles an hour all the way down. No contour issues. It does cost $500,000, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and make a line here right now so people can start to get hip to going to the other town. And we will call this the Oxnard McAllen passenger line. So we have a line there. Now people can start to make their way to the train stations if they so choose. So this is a cargo platform. I can drop this in right here. Boom, boom, and then tracks over here. Track, track. And then we'll do one more cargo platform here and here. And now our cargo building, main building. Here we go. We will run a street right down the side here. It will be a straight street, which is good. And it will go right to the side of the rail, right to the side of the rail yard. Now let's see how it works. Yeah, only Oxnard, so there will have to be a line that goes from here to here, which will need another truck station. Put a truck station in right here, but I don't want it to impede with a railroad that would go by and go through here, so I'm going to put it on this side. Stretch it out a little bit in case we need to add tracks and rail yards. We'll just extend this right in there because it is 1850 and they need all the help they can get. All right, let's put on a couple more railroad tracks. We're going to make these tracks come out a little bit like so. They're going to cross over and connect. And then just so we can hold our area down here, we're going to go ahead and put this in. That way no buildings are affected there. They're not going to be used right now, but there won't be any buildings put in the way in the future. We'll configure this railroad. We're going to put a platform. We'll leave this one a passenger platform. We're going to go cargo platform right here. And then we're going to go tracks. Boom, boom. Let's take a look and see where our freight lines are going to come in. It's going to come in up here. And from down here, we'll go ahead and put our freight building right in. So let's go ahead and do tracks here. 1, 2. Then we'll do a cargo platform. 3, 4. Now we should be able to do our building. Cargo building. There we go. That's better. And that should help us out. Now we have to connect it with a street. And once again, we are spending money, and hopefully it will all work out for us. Got a collision issue. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and connect up our tracks. And before we get too far along, we have just under $3 million left, and we do not want to run out of money before we get a train. So I want to make sure that we get a train on these lines first, too. But we also need a siding. And we're going to put a nice siding here, and leave room for future expansion, and we will go ahead and drop it back on over there. We will need signals on all. And yes, so one way that way. And one way that way. So that should give us a siding there. We're making some money, but not a ton. And we need to buy 2 trains. We also need to get a truck station up here as well. So let's get a truck station in right over here. Leave room for expansion if we need it. And we're going to need a truck station here. And then we'll make a line from here to there. So that's going to allow us to bring refined oil up and a trainload of regular oil back. So let's go ahead and get a road depot in. We're going to go ahead and put it out here since it already looks rather industrial. And we will put, because there will be a train, we're going to go ahead and might as well put 891,000. Put 8. And put them all on the McAllen line. This thing will start kicking out oil as well. Make a new line. We will make a cargo to cargo and back. We will be able to also transport goods both ways on this. There we go. There we go. And then those vehicles are going to go on Oxnard oil supply number 2. Now we got to get a train. We got to get an oil train going. We do have oil being transported back and forth for here. We have oil being stored here. They're consuming it. There should be enough to produce it. So let's get a train up on this line so we can start making some real money. We'll make this look a little realistic. It's over here by a coal mine, which is, I'm sorry, an oil refinery. So that's looks a little cool over there. And then we will lay our tracks in. Let's see how, whatever, there we go. Go that way, and we also want to go this way. Okay, that leaves us $2 million for our oil train. Let's see how this does for the time being. We have 2 tank cars. The capacity is 14. Everything is reliant on the ability to get enough oil to the rail yards to get this thing moving and keep it going. So we're going to start with this. That's $1 million, and then we're going to go ahead and put that on the liquid line. And we're going to let it go and see how it works out. So the Oxnard oil supply, they're going to come down here to Oxnard North. So they're going to pick up oil from the oil refinery. They're going to drop it at the Oxnard exchange. Then they're going to pick up the oil that comes back from up there, and they're going to bring it over to Oxnard North and drop it off. I think that makes sense. Should be kicking out oil here in the very, very near future. This is the first time I've put an engine on both sides of the trains for speed purposes. I hope that that works out a little bit better, makes us a little bit more effective. There we go, we have 21. Our shipment is still nil right now. But you know what? I know why it's not, there's no user for that oil yet. We have not set up this road yet. That's what it is. Let's check the contour of the map here. Nothing pressing. Now let's go ahead and make a country road down to here. That's what the problem is. There's no trucks to bring the oil, the crude oil, over to here. That's our problem. So now we need a truck station up here. Again, spending money. So now we need a line. That was our problem. So now we need a line from here to here. Now McAllen transfer, that needs to be oil trucks. What we needed was cargo vehicles. One of these days I'll have a successful series, guys. One of these days. 5 cargo vehicles. I'm going to put those on line 1. There we go. Probably going to have to configure this to make sure that we can get everybody in here at any given point. Otherwise, we're going to have a log jam like we had the last series. These guys will not be waiting for a full load. And they're waiting for oil, refined oil, to come from down here at the train station. So let's see how that's working. Oh, now we are getting production here. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if that was a bug with the line. This is what we need. So now we have some more crude oil coming over. Crude oil, each 2 crude oils will be processed into 1 oil. And we are in business here. So the Oxnard oil supply should be supplying this train. They should be bringing oil over here. Should pick that up. Should have 3, almost 4. There we go. He's going to go with a full load. Look at that. Nice. Then it's going to come over here. Now we're in business, I think. So the train, although not making any money right now, this oil will be eventually getting to the chemical plant up here. And then once we get some more money, we'll start the process of getting it over to this way. Right now, we can't do that just yet. But we do have oil sitting here waiting, and it's almost a full train load. So when that train gets up here, he should be making some money on his next trip. There's our first load of refined oil that is headed over to the railroad station. Our oil refinery down here is kicking it out at 200, so we could probably put some more vehicles on the line right now and get a little bit more, stir a little bit more. And I think we're actually going to do that. We'll put another 4 on, and those 4 are going to go on the red line, that Oxnard oil supply line. And that'll stagger it so we don't have to replace all those vehicles at the same time. How's our train looking over here? Are we getting a train in? It is in. It's coming in now. And it should be taking 14 oil back. Very nice. That will be a full load of oil heading from McAllen, and that should start to bring us in a little bit of money, and that should help us out tremendously. We should be seeing the next episode should be pretty good. We should see a drastic increase of what we have going on and what I have planned. Hopefully it's profitable. $103,000. Nice. The same train on the way back will be taking a full load of refined oil back up north. He made a couple of trips and made no money at all, so he is starting to make a little bit of money now. That's good. That oil has already been transferred over to, this is crude oil, already been transferred over to the truck station, and there is a full load going back. Now these guys are making money both ways as well. I'm going to go ahead and manage this line, and I want these guys now. I think I'm going to have them sitting here. Actually, I don't think we're going to have to do that. I was going to have them sit here and wait for a full load, but I don't think that's going to even be necessary with all of the oil coming from the oil refinery down here, and then the other refinery. Every time it's going to be 14, so I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll leave it as is. Another full load at the train station already going. So already it appears that the train line that we have set up is going to be a little bit more organized and a little bit more profitable earlier than our previous series. Let's go check our train up here. Another $103,000, so that's a $206,000 round trip back and forth, and he's heading back down with 14 more. So we went a little bit heavier on road vehicles, you know, for the start here, and I think that was a smart move, at least initially. Oil is waiting here at the exchange, and they are waiting for these guys right here to pull up, take them up to the chemical plant. Eventually we may duck this train back into the depot to pick up one more tank car, and that's going to be about it. Right now the speed is good for this train, so I really don't want to mess with them too much. Maybe we'll just run this train up and down these railroad tracks, and depending on how much money we make, maybe we'll put a second train on there, but we still have to get a passenger line going between the two as well. So I don't want to get too crazy here. We only have $300 and some thousand here, so we will just shake it out and see how it goes initially. Looks like we've pulled all of our oil out of the train yard here. And these guys are going back empty right now, but that's okay, because we've shipped 100% of it, so. There's our first load of oil, refined oil, heading up to the chemical plant. We're right here. But it will not make chemicals until we get an inline user. That's going to be for the next episode, and that inline user right now will most likely be this goods factory, which will also need a completely separate chain of steel. Actually, it probably will be a couple episodes down the road. In episode number 2, I hope to expand a passenger service by using some of the limited bus lines from Season 1 and quite possibly even a passenger train between McAllen and Oxnard. That all depends on money. We will also discuss new options for additional freight lines. Please don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the content, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that red subscribe button and set your notifications to all. If you also enjoy military and survival content, please subscribe to my second channel that's showing up there on the left. Continue this series by following the playlist popping up onto your screen right now, or the link in the comment below. And if you've caught up with this series, check out season number 1 showing up right below that. Click any one of those links, and we will see you over there.